In today's EU4 content, I will take on another historical challenge. Specifically, I will play as Prussia in the year 1756, so during the 7 Years' War. This was the most important conflict of the 18th century, especially for Great Britain. Prussia was in a decidedly weaker position here, as it had to face France, Austria, and the might of Great Russia. The conflict itself began when Prussian forces under the command of Frederick II the Great entered Saxony to annex it into Prussia. This did not sit well with the Austrian Habsburgs, prompting a decisive intervention. Thus, a conflict erupted, as a result of which Great Britain became the world's hegemon for the next 150 years. Historically, Prussia managed to simply retain the territories they had at the beginning of the war, without any losses, despite having half the country under occupation at one point. The goal of this campaign will not only be to survive as Prussia, but to truly win this war and seize Saxon territories for Prussia. Beyond that, who knows, perhaps history will end with the formation of Germany. And all this in a conflict where my opponents have about 6 times the numerical advantage. No, I'm not counting the British forces. The British army will likely just sit out the entire war on their island or fight in the colonies, so most of the land battles in Europe will probably fall to me. Yes, this will be fun. Greetings imperialists, Lucas here. Okay, so let's start with the fact that I'm screwed, because Prussia has neither the economy nor the military size to stand up to all the forces converging on me. Sure, I've got plenty of generals, but only one, maybe two, are worth anything. Specifically our king, who also provides discipline. Very nice. Unfortunately, the new Prussian missions won't help me in this war. We won't get any cool bonuses, it doesn't work like it used to. Though I'm hoping to complete the military mission tree, or at least part of it, to get some bonuses. Let's move on to estates. Here, I won't hide it, the Junkers will be the most important for me. The burghers and clergy are just light support. Though from the clergy, I'll grab increased church power and additional morale for fighting heretics. Yes, in the mid-18th century. Next, I'll complete missions for a cheaper military advisor, or not, because I'm an idiot. I'm at war, so I can't even do that mission. Anyway, since I'm playing Prussia, we all know I don't need cavalry at all. I'm scrapping it entirely from my army. That's great, because we have 100% army professionalism, so all that manpower from the cavalry gets refunded. I hire a military advisor for 8 gold maintenance, fine, and no one else, because I simply can't afford it. But that lets me complete the army reform mission. 5% professionalism wasted. Amazing. I return to my court and set a total focus on military points. I'll also trim down my generals, so there's no point in having so many. These are the only ones I'm keeping. If I've just killed off any important historical figures, feel free to let me know in the comments, because I have no idea if I've just eliminated someone significant. I also choose my policies: stronger artillery, greater discipline, better trade efficiency, trade steering, which will definitely come in handy. I can't believe I'm taking it, but tax income will probably help too, as will increase production income. Interestingly, I'm getting more income from taxes at the moment. Oh, I can call an ally into the war, so I summon Brunswick and its mighty 6,000 strong army. Now the war is definitely won. I also click all the worthwhile national decisions, which unfortunately isn't many. I send diplomats to build spy networks in Austria, France and Russia. My god, Russia in this update should just be called the mother of all fortresses. How many do they need? Luckily, from what I can see, most of them are level 2. Though here and there they've got a few level 4s. And thankfully their capital is currently in St. Petersburg. I almost said Petrograd. The only thing that makes me happy about Prussia is that in terms of army quality, I'm in great shape. My army is much stronger than my opponents. It's just a pity it's not as numerous as theirs. And finally, what I do is breakdown. A level 2 fortress. The only level 8 fortress I have is in Königsberg. Okay, I'll issue a defensive edict there. This fortress, however, gets scrapped. The one in Stettin too. Why do I need it? I issue a defensive edict, unfortunately, in Berlin and Magdeburg as well. Though the one in Magdeburg is ridiculously weak, it's level 2. I can't let it fall. This war is between Prussia and Austria, unfortunately. Unfortunately, because Austria would normally be the easiest country for me to knock out of the war. But since they're leading this war, they'll be the last ones to go. How many loans can I take? Because, yeah, this is shaping up to be a very, very long war. The Great Prussian Fleet. It'll do the same thing as the German fleet, sink to the bottom. Alright, I've got a moment to recruit more artillery, I just have to be very careful where I'm recruiting it. All of Silesia is already lost, there's no chance I can defend it. What I have to admit about Great Britain is that it will definitely destroy our enemies at sea. The entire French fleet is sinking, thankfully, but let's be honest, that won't win me the war. I could really use those British troops here with me. So, with my army, before I have enough artillery to engage in proper battles, I'll move around my 3 fortresses and literally scorch every single one of them. Let the allies fight the battles, there's no point in engaging in them myself. I'll also recruit the Gascon Musket Company, the Prussian Volunteer Company and the Free Company. Oh, the Russians are here already, how lovely. They're arriving in Silesia as well. Yes, more artillery before they get to me. It's a disaster. How much artillery do my opponents have? So far, I see they collectively have 50,000, which is good. Great! 18 reforms of Frederick the Great. What should I focus on here? Is there nothing related to combat by any chance? The real question is whether I want cheaper mercenaries or faster technological advancement. I'll take a risk and focus on technological development. Although I completely don't remember what technologies above level 14 actually provide. I'm attacking the Russian army here and it looks like I'll completely destroy it. Correct, they no longer exist. Will it go just as smoothly against the French army? We'll see. Here we have an encounter with more opponents. Meanwhile, the Shadow Kingdom event is happening. Who cares? Leave the empire if you want. Cheers. I'm fighting for my life here, destroying armies. Unfortunately, the French won this time. Fortunately for me, they have a tactics penalty due to having too much cavalry. Thank goodness the AI keeps that cavalry. They're taking massive losses, though so am I. Just like before, I'm consolidating infantry. I don't want to use manpower for this. The mercenaries will make up my infantry. Off to Berlin I go. I hope I can win this battle. Really. And it seems I'm succeeding. Yes, for now I'm routing the French armies. If they don't get any reinforcements, it's over for them. And this time I inflicted much heavier losses on them. But that's the end of the good news, as I really only have 2 fortresses where I can keep fighting. I'll probably lose the rest of the territories very quickly. And Britain is doing exactly what I expected, completely ignoring this war in Europe and transporting its troops to the New World to capture French Canada. Oh, I can complete this mission. How nice. My forts will hold out longer, which is actually good, and I'll take less shock damage. I'm not sure if that'll help, but let's have it. Simultaneously, I'm going back to defend my capital again from the Russian armies, which I'll completely obliterate. Yes. Okay, so far it's not as bad. I'm still trying to destroy Russian armies every time they enter one of my 2 fortresses. I might also head to Königsberg soon to destroy the army besieging that fortress. Alternatively, I'll aim for battles on territories where I won't get any penalties. I'd happily crush this Kazan army. Wow, I didn't even manage to record that. Alright, now I'm moving through Polish territory. And honestly, it's a shame there's nothing in Europa Universalis 4 like in Crusader Kings 3, where granting someone military access also results in their armies damaging your territories. Although, most players probably wouldn't want that, but it would add some flavor. I'm taking the next technology very cheaply. And I must admit, if I manage to reach tech level 28, this war is won. I've engaged the Russian army, they don't even have cannons here. 2 penalties mean total victory, although it won't be a stack wipe since they have a decent general. They're conquistador from a mission. Well, too bad. Wait, how did he manage that with 5 maneuver? Oh, because Frederick has 6 maneuver. Great, I inflicted losses on them. Too bad I didn't destroy their army. And here as well, let's scorch the land. Where are my opponent's armies? I don't know. But I'm heading back to my own territory. I need to defeat the French army and figure out how to get France out of this war because they're the most dangerous country. I'll tell you, the Russians have taken such losses in battles with me that it's very likely I can negotiate a white peace with them soon. I just need to capture their capital. On the way, there's a level 2 fort, level 2 fort, level 2 fort, and level 7 fort. That's not good, especially since I don't have any commander who's an expert in sieging none, so I'll have to do this a bit differently, basically put myself in a position to negotiate peace with Russia as soon as I reach their capital, not after capturing it. Oh, and calling Brunswick into this war was such a 500 IQ move. They have a gigantic fortress here. I needed that, as it allows me to destroy my opponent's divided armies now. Here, I've just annihilated the entire French army. It's a shame they lost so much cavalry, as that means the French will now start recruiting proper army compositions. At this point, I've already destroyed almost 300,000 enemy troops, while I've lost about 30,000. And this is just the beginning of the war, so let's inflict even more losses on the Russians. It's looking beautiful. Although I'd hope for even better rolls to completely annihilate their army. And I succeeded, they also lost their artillery. Thanks to this, I've inflicted enough losses on the Russians to earn plenty of splendor, some army tradition and some professionalism, so I can burn that to recover some manpower. Let's see, Russia still has 37,000 manpower left and 84,000 troops. Austria has 86,000 troops but no manpower left, that's excellent news. And France, 42,000 troops and 32,000 manpower. Where is their army? What happened here? Here, I've just annihilated the entire French army. Meanwhile, I'm destroying more of my opponent's armies. Whenever they enter a fortress, I utterly destroy them. I'm not letting them capture any fortress at this point, although it seems one country has already left the war. Alright, I'm retreating to Rapin, and French troops have appeared, occupying territories again. But I don't want to fight the French here because I'd get penalties. I don't have a fortress here. It'd be better if they moved on to Berlin or a fortress where they'd get penalties in battle. Alright, I'm turning off slacken recruitment and taking the mission for additional manpower and 800 splendor points. This is the point where artillery becomes even stronger. Or should I take reduced damage? Oh my god, what a choice. I have no idea which is better. I'll probably go with artillery because that'll give me plus 40%, which should literally crush my opponent's armies. If I'm making a mistake, let me know in the comments. But my opponents seem to have gotten smarter. They're moving in a cluster and I can't strike at them individually. Luckily, the French troops seem to be retreating, shifting their position somewhere, but I'm taking additional military points. Great. I also got an event for a national bank. More money, reduced inflation, and most importantly, lower interest rates. Speaking of interest rates, I knew I forgot something. Extra taxes will also help. And I'll take additional interest reductions here as well. Although it'll increase all power cost by 5%, I think it's worth the price at this point. Because the economy is honestly the only thing that's giving me real trouble. Oh no, Italy left the Holy Roman Empire. Who would have guessed? Let's see how this battle with the Austrians goes. Their general is weaker now. 444 isn't that bad though. Lower discipline, lower morale, fewer cannons. We'll see if my cannons deliver. Yes, they did. Massive losses inflicted during the fire phase. In the shock phase, not as good. And soon it'll be the fire phase again. 5,000 losses in one tick, that's the end of the Austrian army. They just lost half their troops. The cannons are delivering after all. This means Austria is down to just 34,000 troops remaining here. I've got them. Austria is now without an army. I knew discipline got buffed about a year ago, but I didn't think it was this much of a buff. I've inflicted 430,000 losses on our opponents. Wow. Alright, I think now I'll focus on destroying either the French or Russian army and taking one of those countries out of the war. From what I've seen, Russia might be easier to conquer because when I looked at the Maginot Line that France has built here, before I siege all of that, although perhaps it would be easier for me to approach Paris from the south? But ultimately I think I'll head towards Petersburg to capture it as quickly as possible. It will be much easier than taking Paris. It's possible that even the French fleet might help me seize it and then I could demand some war reparations or money from the Russians. First though, I'll crush the French army. In the process, I'll probably also destroy the Russian one. But the Russian army gets annihilated so quickly that... Yes, literally. See, it dies in seconds. Not even worth mentioning, I'll lose more to attrition in Russia than the Russians actually inflict on me in this war. I don't need this. The French army here should also be crushed. I didn't even pay attention to whether they have cannons. Oh, but they do have cannons. Still, there was some weird war. The French army ceases to exist, although they still have 44,000 somewhere. Alright, before I move on Russia, I need a general with at least 1 to 2 siege points. Fingers crossed. Will I manage to get a decent general? I wanted 1 point, so I got it, and now my armies have reached Riga. Meanwhile, my main manpower army will stand nearby, with Riga being captured by my cannons and mercenary companies. Although I only need 10,000 cannons for that at most. Riga is captured. Now I move on to Pskov. Reval also falls very quickly, though I must admit it would help to have the presence of, say, the British fleet. By the way, the British are doing quite well too, capturing Canada from the French, though this fortress seems like it'll hold them up for a while. Weird Florida. I love occupying Russian territory, it's so kind to my manpower reserves, they're shrinking before my eyes. Come on, fall! Soon I'll have to abandon the siege of this fortress, because as it happens, all my territories are about to fall under enemy occupation. Hanover might exit the war any moment now. Oh wait, alright, it was under a union at this time, wasn't it? 85%. At least I didn't reach 99% this time. But now I'm regrouping my armies and heading back to the homeland. I can also take a religious advancement here, choosing extra discipline. And basically, after these victories, Russia would already leave the war. But I think I'll put this country into debt. Historically, didn't Elizabeth die during this war? And then her successor, a supposed Prussian drill enthusiast, made peace with the Prussians. He didn't want to fight wars with the Germans. That pretty much saved the Prussians in this war. I doubt I'll have such luck. Oh, Mecklenburg has fallen. This is problematic because I'll probably face a big battle near Berlin. First, I'll crush the Russian forces, or at least that's the plan. Beautiful, you can already see it's over for them. Everything is cleared out. Alright, and my fortress currently under Saxon occupation. I'll bombard it and likely storm it. Yes, beautiful, I capture it very quickly. Oh no, Brunswick has exited. I've lost that epic fortress they had here. But I managed to intercept the Austrian army, and despite the penalties, I completely obliterate it. Where are the cannons, I ask? Actually, I'm glad they don't have any cannons here. Unfortunately, the French have 14,000 of them. Now I'm crushing a few smaller armies in the area, and honestly, I'm surprised the Russians aren't retaking this. It's very strange. I'll wait for this French army to head somewhere though. I want to crush it in a battle and then return to Russia. I'm taking a bit of a risk and plan to break the French army, or at least part of it, near Wittenberg. I'll take penalties, just one. But yes, beautiful, beautiful. Wow, artillery damage is doing massive work here. Now I'm on Polish territory, trying to catch the larger French army. It probably won't be as easy here. Let's see, there are 9 cannons and the rest are. Let's see, the fire phase. Artillery is holding its own, bombarding. And how does it look? Wow, I'm really inflicting heavy losses on their regiments. But somehow, it's completely obliterating their morale in the first phase, on the first tick. What's this event? Normally, if I were playing, I'd take it and develop my country during this time. But now I need money more. Total annihilation, wow. And basically, after these battles, I'm heading back to Russian territory. I want to capture St. Petersburg. Petersburg. I don't know why I keep thinking of St. Peters. Probably because it was going too easily for me and now I'm getting 32,000 rebels in my country. At least they're on a fortress that will hold out for a while. Alright, I'm taking a bit of a risk splitting my armies. I'm pulling back the manpower army to defend my fortresses again. And the one besieging stays in Russia. I'm hoping those 120,000 troops won't attack the 20,000. I'm really hoping. And there it is, I've introduced military technology 28, giving me an edge in unit quality. I want as many fire pips as possible, and basically, it's game over now. I have 2 technology levels over my opponents, they likely won't win this. Sure, Saxony, peace, no chance for that. I feel so confident at this point that even with low morale, I'm engaging the Austrian army, which was probably a mistake. Because I would have inflicted more morale losses otherwise. Wow, didn't I have a line? Why am I taking so many losses already? I had to deploy my entire army on St. Petersburg, and let me tell you, I'm taking a risk here, storming that fortress. If the Russian army falls so easily, maybe their fortress garrisons will too. Let's see. Oh crap, oh no, oh no. Okay, so I've reached St. Petersburg, bombarding it, but I won't storm it. What's the point? Great Britain really abandoned me in this war. Of course, the war with Bengal is so much more important to them. And the funniest part is, the British haven't captured anything here. Nothing. Wait a minute, I just noticed. Qing joined the war against Russia. And I was wondering where their armies were. Now I know. They're just occupying China? Honestly, I didn't expect such a turn of events in this war, especially since China is 7 to 8 technologies behind me and 5 behind Russia. The Russian army is doing to the Chinese army exactly what I'm doing to their army right now. Well, so much for enjoying China's presence in this war. I'm left alone on the battlefield. Which unfortunately means I'll probably have to agree to a white peace with all these countries, since I can't really conquer anything. Too bad, I could have taken a lot of money from the Russians, but I still want to achieve my goal in this war and conquer all of Saxony, which means I need manpower. So unfortunately, France and Austria... Oh, France doesn't want a white peace anymore. Alright, I'm heading back to retake my fortress, because of course my fortresses fall at 7%. I defeat the French again in battle, and I look at how much war score I'm not using here. Ah, white peace. Oh, more rebels. Okay, now I'm focusing on retaking my territory. I think I'll also attack the Austrians soon if they move onto that fortress. Well, my armies have already retaken part of Silesia, but now I'm entering Czech territory, or rather Austrian territory. I need to capture these 2 fortresses, otherwise retaking anything is pointless. The Austrians currently have 40,000 soldiers left, so I can say I have the advantage. Prague falls very quickly. Let's burn it in case the Austrians come to retake it later. Though I think they'll head for that fortress, it seems to me. Oh no, they're just retaking the territories I already reclaimed. And my discipline advisor dies. Great. Oh no, look, this is so funny. If the French Revolution happens now, and yes, there is a French Revolution, I'll have played this perfectly historically. Now I crush the Austrian armies, and I'm moving to Dresden to capture it. I think the Austrians are gathering all the forces they have left because, look, I only see small detachments of 1,000 moving around here, probably preparing for a battle over Dresden, though maybe I'll manage to capture it first. Ah, unfortunately not. But that's literally the entire Austrian army. Oh, and they even have artillery. Dresden falls after even a short siege, I must admit. Taking Saxony will give me a small coalition against me, but I'm not really worried about that. I conquer all of it. Wow, 722,000 losses on their side, with only 129,000 of mine. That's not even that much. Alright, I disable slacken recruitment again. I don't want to lose army professionalism. With this, Prussia has now become a great power in the world, and my army has a clear path to Vienna, so let's go capture the Austrian capital. This will probably mark the end of the war. Fortunately, the capital is level 2, so the siege should be short. It seems we're trading capitals for capitals, but I'm about to finish the siege of Vienna here. I also managed to catch the Austrian army near Glogov and completely destroy it. Why? So now I think I'll reclaim the war goal to reduce the Austrians' war score. And basically, from the Austrians, I demand 2 gold mines. I'm capturing their fortresses, the more annoying ones on the border with me. Or rather, the troublesome ones. And I release Nitra, which I'll conquer next time. Of course, I'll also take war reparations and lots of money. This whole war was extremely bloody. My opponents lost nearly 1,000,000 troops, while I only lost 100,000 in battles. Alright, since the 7 Years' War is won, Prussia has gained all of Saxony's territory, I have access to the gold mines, so now let's go ahead and create Germany. Because why not? I'll start with a war against Poland using the nationalism casus belli to reclaim the rest of my provinces. Do you think a lack of manpower is a problem? Not with this army. Besides, Poland is 4 tech levels behind. Gdansk captured and I'm pulling back to destroy the Polish army. It's honestly sad to watch, though the hussars are still more formidable than the Russian army. Oh, the emperor joined this war. Oops! Fortunately, he didn't fight for long, but he'll pay for it. My next step will probably be dismantling the empire. I need to get rid of it as quickly as possible. Once that's done, I can quickly conquer all these territories here. My only problem is a lack of administrative points and another 10 years to go before a reform. By the way, I'm heading to Spain and Spain has decided to visit me. Why did the Spaniards bother? I have no idea. That army probably wasn't useful to them either. Atmospheric engine. Does this mean coal is about to appear? Actually, yes, I can have coal here already. Excellent. I think I know what I'll spend the money from the Spanish War on. After taking Toledo, they pretty much surrendered. I'm heading back because unfortunately Poland is doing its thing and capturing my flimsy fortresses. Warsaw fell quickly as usual, and I'm essentially ending this war. I don't need more, just a few provinces, war reparations, and tons of money. I'll claim territorial rights next time, breaking my alliance with the British. And really, republics can't form alliances with other countries? Oops, actually that's kind of cool. I've paid off all my debts. I'll build a university in Ratibor to develop the province and get coal here. I'll also start constructing counting houses, since they'll bring the quickest profit. And from what I see, in a few years I'll have the chance to dissolve the empire because Bavaria happens to have alliances with several electors, and coal has been discovered in Ratibor. Ah, a small revolution. A problem that will resolve itself in the meantime. But why did they capture my strongest fortress for free? But from what I see, I'm not the only one with this issue, though I dealt with my rebellions very quickly. And honestly, this seems like a good moment to take some money from the Ottoman Empire, especially since the country seems to be burning from what I can see. Another coal province. Oh no, the Ottoman Empire situation is getting worse. Oh my god, what is this? Hey, I have to get a handle on these Ottoman disasters. This could make for a great episode. What was the most disastrous period for the Ottoman Empire? Let me know in the comments. Constantinople captured, the Red Ottomans. And nicely, they agree. The next country I'll attack for money is Russia. Especially since Austria will likely give me a good amount of cash too. The Austrian army is gone. Quick occupation and we're swimming in money. The worst part of this war was capturing those Russian fortresses, but we're returning victorious. And honestly, I think I've supercharged my economy. I made it. Everything was funded by my neighbors. And that's it for my epic ruler. My truce with Bavaria has ended, so I'm attacking them. All the electors either have alliances with me now or are at war against me. A nice bonus is that, fortunately for me, my opponent's capitals are all level 1. So at this point, the empire falls, and I no longer need imperial protection. Time to crush the revolution in Tuscany. XD, my opponents don't even have armies to take my fortresses. I've also taken the ignore coring distance idea, which will be super useful. Now I'm taking Prussian discipline. And why don't I have discipline here? Revolutionary Turkey XD, that country seems to have collapsed. And right away the Austrians declared war on Turkey. Bavaria conquered, well, not entirely, but I don't need more. I'll reduce development here so I can annex all these provinces cheaply since I'll run out of admin points. Quick wars to take the last provinces I need. Coalitions are forming, but what can I do about it? These German armies are unstoppable at this stage of the game. Alright, the only thing that might slow me down, at least temporarily, is these fortresses. Ooh, so now Prussia has these 2 paths, or rather 3, though one seems blocked. One leads to conquering all the lands of the Commonwealth, the other, the first one, leads to forming Germany. Cool, let's annex the last provinces. And so I formed the German nation, maybe not the prettiest Germany, but it exists, it even has quite a few territorial claims, and with the army they have, they're unstoppable. In this episode, however, you can see how I used the Venetian fleet to defeat Austria and France in the War of the League of Cambrai.